Oga Osahon, oya abeg come dey go. I wan lock shop. I don close. Madam Vero, so early? Why you wan close so early today? Osahon, the young man whom the local beer parlor owner, Madam Vero, had just spoken to, asked. Abeg come dey go jare. Na you go tell me when I go lock my shop and close for the day? Madam Vero responded in an angry tone. No be say you even buy better market sef. Only one bottle of beer you buy dey sip since take dey occupy space for my bar. Abeg come dey go joor. Madam Vero added and was already pulling the plastic chair Osahon had been sitting on as a way to forcefully make him get up and leave her bar. Slowly, Osahon stood up from the chair and made his way out of Madam Vero's liquor bar. He wished that there was somewhere else he could still hang around for a little while before going home, but there was none. Madam Vero's bar is the only business place that opens late up till that time. Well, except for the local hotels around. But I can't even go to a hotel. I don't even have the money to if I want to, Osahon thought aloud. How am I going to have money sef when the woman I called my wife saps every penny I managed to earn and is bent on ruining me? Osahon thought again and sighed. Osahon is a fine man in his late 30s. 7 years ago, Osahon felt he was the luckiest man on earth when the most beautiful girl in the village, Osaretin, had agreed to marry him. However, his parents, friends, and some concerned villagers had warned him against marrying Osaretin. You are not a stranger in this village and should know that Osaretin is highly materialistic. So what are you doing with her? Osahon's mother spoke to him when she first learnt that her son had begun a relationship with Osaretin. Osaretin is not as bad as you all think. She is a good girl and only desires the good things of life like everybody else. The only difference is that she's expressive about it, Osahon replied his mother defensively and every other person who advised him against marrying Osaretin. You guys are just jealous that Osaretin shows me amongst you all and the other young men in this village, Osahon told his two closest friends, Uyi and Osas, when they also advised him against it. Indeed, Osaretin is a very beautiful girl and she knows this. Osaretin lives with her poor widower father who was a local tailor. It was him who encouraged Osaretin to go out with men who wanted her and were ready to spend money on her. You are a very beautiful girl and I would be lying to you and myself if I tell you that these men would stop coming around you. I am a man, so I know that we men cannot take our eyes off a beautiful woman, especially a young single beautiful woman like you. So, play your card well. Give them the audience and your attention they seek for, and in return, accept and spend their money, Osaretin's father had told her. He added that Osaretin do not have to sleep with the men, but to make them crave to lay with her, thereby making them want to keep spending on her. You can move on to another man if anyone decides that he can no longer spend on you because he didn't get to lay with you, he added. But never forget to always give me my share of whatever money you get from them and take care of me as your father, he told her. Osaretin's father gave her this unfatherly advice when she was just 19 and young and innocent. He was a very greedy man and also known to be a man that would use trick and swindle people of their money. Even his best friend, Epanusa, was always careful in his dealings with him. And as for Osaretin, though she had started off as a young, naive girl, she became an expert as she grew older, always demanding money and expensive material things from men who showed interest in her. But she was careful not to lie with many of them as her father had advised her. She made them beg her and to keep spending on her, and later would move on to another person when the previous person stops giving her money. At a time, she began ignoring the young men in her village when men from the city started showing interest in her. "How much do you have and how much can you give me? Can you give me or buy me things men in the city would easily spend and give to me?" she told the men in the village. However, after frolicking with some few men from the city for quite some time, Osaretin got scared one day and decided to stop dealing with city men. A young girl in the city had been brutally butchered by one of her angry male lover, who was upset that the girl in question kept spending his money but refusing to lie with him. Her butchered body was found close to a refuse dump with a note apparently written by the man who had murdered her in cold blood. People got to know the reason for her death because of the note placed on her body. The note read, "I killed her because she keeps making me spend on her but would not allow me sleep with her. Imagine that I sold our family land to buy her an expensive phone, thinking that she would be impressed and allow me touch her. But still she did not. I realized that she was fooling me and I can't let her go scot-free. So I killed her." No one knew the man who did it, but at least they knew why the mystery man had done it. That same week, it was in the news that another rich Yahoo fraudster had also murdered his girlfriend in cold blood in a hotel room and was apprehended by the police. This were what got Osaretin scared and why she decided not to deal with city men again and returned to operating in her village. It was this time that Osahon, who had initially been away from the village for a period of 3 years on a short technical course on electrical engineering in Benin City, and had returned back to the village to open a small electronic repair shop, decided to try his luck and asked Osaretin out. To his surprise, he didn't have to pursue Osaretin for long because she accepted to date him and seemed okay with the little money he gave her and the few things he managed to buy for her. He became more elated when Osaretin agreed to lie with him and proudly show him off in the whole village as her man and the one she loves. His joy knew no bounds when he proposed to her and she accepted to marry him. He had ignored every counsel and advice he got concerning Osaretin because he believed that she was ready to manage whatever he was able to provide for her. But right now, as he walked back home that night, he wished that he had listened to those counsels. After their marriage, Osaretin started making outrageous demands from him. She demanded money to buy expensive clothes and accessories all the time. Whenever he did not give her the money she demanded for, she would use the money he gave her for food to buy the clothes or accessories she wants and would not prepare any food, thereby starving him and their young son. His business began to suffer as a result, and she kept quarreling him every day, demanding that he does whatever he could to earn better money to take care of her. And that was why he dreaded going home that evening and had spent the entire evening in Madame Vero's bar. "You stupid man, you have returned home late again, Abi? I hope you have good money to show for your lateness this time around," Osaretin said. Attacking Osahon, immediately he stepped into the house. She went closer and began to forcefully search his pockets like she always does. "Stupid man, you came back home with no reasonable money again," Osaretin said, seeing only a few amounts of money in his pocket and collecting it, and then retreats into their bedroom. A few months later, Osahon's business eventually collapsed as he kept running into debts. Also, because he was always thinking and had no rest of mind at home, he lost concentration at work also, and most times would take a long time to fix a faulty electronic gadget. Sometimes, He would fix an issue in a faulty electronic but would forget to fix the other issue. So, people stopped giving him their faulty electronics to repair. Osaretin made life hell for him in those few weeks he was out of job. Then one day, his friend Uyi, who had visited him to check on him that evening, told him in the course of their discussion about a driving job in the city he would have taken, but that the woman who wanted the driver said she wanted a single person, and that is why he did not get the job since he is married. After Uyi left, Osaretin, who had the habit of eavesdropping and had heard her husband's conversation with his friend, told him to go for the job. I thought you said you heard all Uyi said. If you did, you should also have heard that he said that the woman wanted a single person, and that is why he did not get the job. So, what makes you think that she would give me the job, seeing that I am also married? Osahon asked. You will not tell her or let her know that you are married. Tell her that you are single, so she would give you the job, Osaretin replied. And what would happen to you and our son? Osahon asked. I am okay and ready to keep up with the lie, so long as you will continue sending us a lot of money. Didn't you hear Uyi say that she is going to pay the person that would become her driver 60,000 naira? 60,000 naira, oh. Have you ever made or earned such an amount of money before? Osaretin asked. Well, I am not going to do it. I would not lie about my status just to get a job, Osahon told her. But Osaretin would not listen. She bugged him about it, even until late the whole night, and they only slept at about 4 a.m. when she felt tired and sleepy and had slept off. The next morning, she continued. On the second day, she had already troubled Osahon so much that he got tired and gave in. He begged Uyi to give him the address of the woman in the city, and the next day, he set out for Benin City to apply for the job. Miss Imafidon is a wealthy woman who had inherited her parents' companies and businesses years back. Though now in her mid-40s, she is single and had never been married because she got tired of men who were either with her because of her money or were threatened by her wealth, so she lost interest in men. After asking him questions about himself, one of which was about his relationship status, Miss Imafidon was satisfied with Osahon and hired him as her driver. Osahon did his job as Miss Imafidon's driver dutifully well. However, he maintained the lie of being single and sent money to Osaretin from time to time. He was only able to visit her once in a period of 2 months. Osaretin did not mind because of the money he sent her. Now, Osahon had been driving Miss Imafidon for a period of 1 year. He was calm, respectful, neat, and did his job dutifully. And this made Miss Imafidon to like him. She picked interest in him and began to make passes at him, which Osahon kept ignoring and acted as though he did not know about her interest in him. After a while, and seeing that Osahon is acting oblivious, Miss Imafidon came open and told him that she was interested in him. She begged him to give them a chance and promised to make him a partner in her company and other businesses. Still, Osahon told her that he was not interested. Miss Imafidon told him that she would give him time to give it a second thought. Later that week, when Osahon visited home, he discussed what Miss Imafidon asked of him with Uyi. He was comfortable discussing it with Uyi because Osaretin had gone to buy some groceries in the market, and even at that, he still spoke softly and in a low tone. Unknown to him, that Osaretin, who chose to return early, had stopped at the door to eavesdrop on his conversation with Uyi when she suspected that they were discussing something important as she was about to go in. Osaretin heard everything, and later when Uyi left, she went to Osahon.
Give her what she wants. Marry her,
Osaretin said. Marry who? Give who what? Osahon asked, pretending not to know about what his wife is talking about and trying to convince himself that Osaretin had not found out nor heard his discussion with Uyi.
Stop pretending, I heard. Marry Miss Imafidon so that she would make you a partner in her company and we will become rich,
he said. Osahon told her that he would not do it because already his conscience pricks him every day for lying about his marital status to Miss Imafidon from the beginning. Later the next day, Osahon left the village for the city to resume work since his 2 days leave was over. Osahon had only returned to the city in about 1 hour when the gatesman came in to inform him that a lady with her young son is at the gate and that she was looking for him. She said her name na Osaretin and said she be your younger cousin, the gatesman informed Osahon. Osahon, when he heard that, dashed out to the gates to find Osaretin and their son, indeed standing at the gates. "What the hell are you doing here?" he asked in a very worried tone but in a whisper.
I am here to ensure that you say yes to your boss. Don't worry, I will be your cousin for as long as I am here,
Osaretin informed him, also in a low tone. Just then, Miss Imafidon also came out and Osaretin introduced herself as Osahon's cousin.
This is my son. My husband is late. My cousin Osahon told me that I can come to him whenever I need help, and that is why I am here,
Osaretin quickly said, having memorized her lie. "Oh, I am so sorry about your loss. You are welcome to stay for as long as you want. There are enough rooms in this house," Miss Imafidon said and welcomed Osaretin in. The next few days, Osaretin kept bugging Osahon to accept Miss Imafidon's proposal because of her wealth. "It is either you accept now or I expose us," Osaretin threatened one day. Just then, Miss Imafidon walked in.
"Oh, ma'am, Osahon here is just telling me how much of a good woman you are and how he is so attracted to you, but that he is shy to express his feelings for you,"
Osaretin said immediately to Miss Imafidon, ensuring that Osahon accepts to marry her by force. "Oh, really? Is that so?" Miss Imafidon asked, beaming with excitement. Then, Osaretin secretly gave Osahon a pinch as a way to urge him to agree to the story she had just cooked up. Yes, she's right, Osahon responded, stuttering. "Well, I feel the same way about him also, and he knows this. He's a kind man, and I don't mind having a husband like him," Miss Imafidon responded.
"I will be glad to have you as my sister-in-law, and I am sure that every other members of our family will be glad as well. You are such a beautiful woman and such a nice person," Osaretin added. "Don't be shy, Osahon. You can see that she feels the same way about you. Why don't you two just get married already?"
Osaretin said. Osahon sat where he was, angry and sweating profusely, but kept forcing a sheepish smile on the outside. Just then, Miss Imafidon's phone rang and she went upstairs to her room to take the call.
"Now, act accordingly and don't you dare ruin my efforts, else I will expose the actual truth and cook up more stories that will make us send you to jail. You know what I can do, so don't dare me,"
Osaretin said to Osahon after they were alone. And so, Osahon accepted to be in a relationship with Miss Imafidon, and 6 weeks later, they got married in a civil court wedding. Then one day, Miss Imafidon was heading towards the guest room where Osaretin is. She had gotten a designer bag and a dress as gifts for Osaretin and was going to gift it to her when she heard Osaretin on a phone call.
Don't worry. I am only waiting for her to make my husband a partner in her company and include him in her will. Then, I will slowly poison her and get rid of her. She will not even live long to find out that I and Osahon are married and that I am his first legitimate wife.
Miss Imafidon heard Osaretin said. Osaretin was actually on a phone call with her best friend who is like her and supports all her evil deeds. Miss Imafidon was so disappointed but more furious when she heard Osaretin's phone conversation. So these people are dubious and are out to get my wealth and properties. Okay now, I will deal with them and teach them a lesson, she said to herself. Osahon and Osaretin were worried as they could not explain Miss Imafidon's sudden change in attitude towards them. She yelled at them, provoked or unprovoked. She began treating them as though they were her slave and would lock her kitchen if she was going out without allowing them access any food apart from the tiny one she would always leave for them on the dining table, which is all they would have all day. Osaretin tried to leave and run back to the village, but Miss Imafidon instructed her gatekeeper not to allow her leave the compound. She even hired 2 muscular and huge men as bouncers who kept watch over Osahon and Osaretin whenever she was not around, and whom she instructed that they beat the couple for every slight errors or when they were not quick to carry out her order. Baby, what is it? What have I and my cousin done to provoke you and make you change towards us? Osahon tried to find out what the problem was one day. But instead, she signaled one of her bouncers who gave him a hot slap. Do not ever attempt to question me again, was all Miss Imafidon said to him. Miss Imafidon had determined to make them miserable before letting them know that she was now aware that they had lied to her, after which she would dissolve her marriage with Osahon and kick them out. This harsh treatment and change of events lasted for about 2 months, with Osahon and Osaretin having no idea as to why Miss Imafidon had suddenly changed towards them. They were now looking so miserable and had grown very lean. Then, one day, Miss Imafidon was chasing Osaretin with a whip she had bought and which she uses to whip them whenever she is provoked. Osaretin ran screaming, "Please, ma, I'm sorry, oh, have mercy. I only took a little quantity of garri because the food you left for us had gone sour before you gave it to us," Osaretin said, pleading as she ran. Suddenly, she lost her balance near the kitchen and fell. She landed on the ceramic plate she had brought out to use for the garri. The plate shattered under her weight and a piece of the broken plate flew into her eyes and pierced her eyes, with one sharp end going directly into it. Osaretin cried out in pain. Miss Imafidon stopped, realizing the damage, and rushed Osaretin to the hospital. The doctor did their best. However, the injury was severe and the sharp piece of the plate had reached her retina, causing a permanent damage. "I only wanted to deal with the both of you for lying to me and tricking me into marrying a man who is already married. I also know that you did it because you wanted my wealth, and your wife was even planning that she was going to poison and kill me after I include you in my will. I didn't plan for it to get this bad anyway, but that is your luck," Miss Imafidon told Osahon and Osaretin. And that was when they understood the reason for her sudden change and hatred towards them. Osahon asked for her forgiveness, stating that he had not meant to lie to her and deceive her. "But you did anyway. You deceived me. It doesn't matter that you did it because your wife made you do it. You are a full-grown man and fully responsible for your decisions and actions," Miss Imafidon said to Osahon. Days later, Miss Imafidon contacted a lawyer who helped her dissolve her marriage with Osahon in the same court registry they had their civil wedding. She sent them away from her house after Osaretin was discharged, and Osaretin and Osahon returned back to the village with nothing, and Osaretin with one permanently damaged eye. They lived in worse poverty than they were before and in regret the remaining days of their lives. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story and that you have learned something from it. As usual, I would love to hear your opinions. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you for listening and see you in my next story. Bye.